When it comes to horror, games have a lot to offer. The interactivity element makes it all the more fun to jump in and risk being scared. But no game has done it quite like the 2001 horror game, Silent Hill 2. If you're wanting to play something truly unique and you haven't experienced it yet, I recommend playing it now and avoiding spoilers. And there will be some in this video. Before Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 1 terrified players around the world, the town becoming iconic and the series becoming one of the horror greats. After Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3 continued the storyline of the first game, but Silent Hill 2 was its own self-contained story, following the protagonist James as he searches the town of Silent Hill for his dead wife, who he seemed to receive a letter from 2 years after her death, telling him to meet her there. The game is set in Silent Hill, but it doesn't follow the cult or the town as much as the other games. It's instead a game about people. The characters in Silent Hill 2 feel deep. They have storylines through the game that you aren't really even a major part of, which contrasts most other games where you are a, or even the, main part of everyone's story. But in Silent Hill 2, people's stories are playing out in the background, whether you're a part of it or not, which makes them feel more real, like they're their own people and their storylines are their own, which doesn't take anything away from the player, because you're busy struggling with your own story. And there's the heart of Silent Hill 2. It all plays into the themes of the story. Everything is built around it. There are 2 difficulty settings, which you can set for combat and puzzles separately. This facilitates those who want to just see the story, or those that just want to get scared, without the sometimes awkward combat slowing you down, or any puzzles stopping the story in its tracks. Though I recommend doing the puzzles in Silent Hill 2. One way the game focuses on the story is through the camera. Like many older horror games, the camera is in a fixed position, which really helps it to frame or highlight themes, which help tell the story, without beating you over the head. But it does something beyond that Silent Hill 2 does best. It frightens you. Having a static camera angle adds to the tension. It helps frame certain things specifically to creep you out, or block others so you might not know what's there. In fact, there's a lot of random stuff that makes the entire situation seem unnerving. Whether it's erratic behavior of someone, the fact that many people don't even acknowledge the monsters, or a disturbing encounter with monsters on their own. Everything about the game is unsettling. From the strange happenings to the people themselves. You know, the only seemingly normal things in the town. Even they will stress you out, with their strange behavior only mounting as the game continues. And that's what Silent Hill 2 is about. At the end of the day, jump scares are frightening, but they're not horror. Silent Hill 2 is horror. However, there are still a few just to keep you on edge. It's the subtle inconsistencies that play on the player's mind. Things like how the town isn't actually possible, certain buildings being too large or too small, or how there are very strange rooms out of place from the rest. You soon realize it's an abstract world. Just like in The Shining, the world isn't possible. Then you start to notice the eerie lack of music. The strange sounds start to play on your fear. You know something is coming, but you don't know when or where. And when the music is there, it's very surreal, strange. It's a beautiful soundtrack. From an almost eerie pop song to something you might hear from Twin Peaks. To soft rock. whatever this is. And the choice when to use them once again reflect the themes. Different songs play at specific times, alluding to connections and contrasts. Even the elements of the gameplay, like the fog, play on your fear of the unknown, even if they might have been added due to draw distance limitations. They play into that feeling of uneasiness. What is in the fog? What are the shapes that seem to almost creep out of it while you explore? And maybe that's one of the best ways to describe Silent Hill 2. Uncertainty and uneasiness. Everything about it makes you more scared than you need to be. Sinister forces at work that you can't seem to pin down. That's the key to the fear it sows, and it's really all thanks to one thing. The subtle fears continue, playing more from the mind. In one of the more frightening scenes, you must stick your hand into a hole. What is in the hole? Why do you need to do it? And is there even something bad in there? If so, what is it? How harmful could it be? Instead of telling you, Silent Hill 2 lets you guess, even if there might be no danger at all. It gets you to create your own fear. But I think that the most important part of that subtlety are the choices you make. When you're playing a game with choices, where your choices affect the story or the game, you will most often see something like this, or something similar to this. There are very few games where your actions shape your story. Silent Hill 2 is one of them, and it did it in 2001, 6 years before the first Witcher. And the decisions that change the story are not around specific decisions that you make in the game, but how you play the game. How rarely you heal, or if you stay at low health, means you're suicidal and don't care about yourself. How closely do you protect people during escort missions? Do you make sure you stay near them and protect them? Do you bond with specific characters and show caring to them? Or do you bump into them, leave them behind, and largely ignore them? Do you skip people's dialogue, avoiding them and not caring much about the story or the people you meet in the town? Do you visit certain areas? Do you respect people's property? Do you look at pictures of loved ones often or never? All of these actions affect the story, without the game ever showing or telling you that they will. If you played through just once, you wouldn't even know which things affected the story. That's a very subtle, much more impactful way to change a story based on gameplay, instead of asking you if you want to do the bad thing or the not bad thing. How you play the character, not how you make concrete decisions in certain moments. That's what the character becomes, and that's a much more powerful way to tell a character's story than just being whoever you tell the game you are. And all of this plays into the themes of Silent Hill 2. Questions of falling into despair, of trauma and reliving it, of blame, shame, and projection, or of learning how to move on, or being unable to. It's not a perfect game. No game is. But Silent Hill 2 is a masterpiece, making not only the choices, but the actual gameplay matter, which all weave back masterfully into the themes that shape the story and your experiences. Everything beautifully crafted, meticulously planned to make the masterpiece that is Silent Hill 2.